Hello, and welcome to another installment of Tech Talks, where the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Technology Engagement Center hosts leaders and policymakers in the innovation space. My name is Jordan Crenshaw, and I'm Senior Vice President of CTech. Today, Ravi Kumar, who is CEO of Cognizant, joins us. Our Tech Talk is incredibly noteworthy today because we are announcing that Ravi will be the chair of the Chamber's Artificial Intelligence Working Group. He will help us set our strategic vision on AI and be an ambassador for the great work that folks like Michael Richards on the team are doing to promote this game-changing technology. So let's get right into it. Congratulations and welcome, Ravi.
Thank you so much, John, for the opportunity to talk to you and, of course, represent the U.S. Chamber for the AI Working Committee.
Well, Ravi, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the technology industry?
So, Jordan, I had an unusual entry into technology, if I may. I'm a nuclear scientist. I started my professional career as a nuclear scientist, and I love I loved the process of applying science to worldly problems, if I may. But I got excited about the pace at which technology was changing. And I do believe that that kind of drove me to be in the technology space. So over the last 30 years, I worked in tech services. Tech services is an industry which looks at technology which is coming our way. We call it the technology waves. And we look at ways to scale this technology to global 2,000 enterprises. So we apply this technology to enterprises so that it can actually serve better to its customers. So I worked all across the technology space for the last 30 years and at Cognizant since January of 2023 as a CEO.
Well, Ravi, I think in terms of your expertise and your leadership on technology, there's no better person to be at the helm of working on AI along with us here at the Chamber. For those who maybe only know a little bit about Cognizant, can you provide an overview of what Cognizant does?
Absolutely, Jordan. So Cognizant helps companies get and stay ahead on technology in a fast-changing world, applying technology-led transformation to enterprise landscapes. We are celebrating our 30th anniversary this year, and during this time, and over several waves of disruptive technological change, all the way from the internet to the rise of outsourcing to the cloud, and now AI, we have actually applied technology, and we have built skills, we have built capabilities, we have sensed what is coming, and we've looked at challenges to apply these to technology to business landscapes, and worked on creating that embrace technology needs in business landscapes. It's interesting. You will know that consumer-led technologies are faster to adopt. Business-led technology is much harder because of the complexity of enterprise landscapes. So we take technology which is coming on the way, and we demystify that complexity and apply it to enterprise landscapes.
We are thrilled you will be joining us as chair of the AI Working Group. Obviously, AI will have numerous transformative benefits for consumers, businesses, and society. How is Cognizant leveraging AI?
Jordan, I have actually seen multiple tech disruptions over the last 25, 30 years. Mostly they have disrupted enterprise landscapes. This is a technology which disrupts our own business model. And in the process of disrupting our business model, we do help clients, which are global enterprises, disrupt their own. Just to give you a sense, AI as a disruptive, general-purpose technology, as I call it. A general-purpose technology is one which spawns downstream innovation. It improves over time, and it is very pervasive. Interestingly, AI actually has that application to our own business, the business of writing software, writing code. One of the biggest use cases for AI is about disrupting the software development cycles. I call it tech for tech. To give you an order of magnitude, within Cognizant, roughly 450,000 lines of code are written every month by machines. that is roughly around 5 million lines of code annually written by machines, and 15% of the code written by developers is actually written by machines. And that number is actually progressively moving up in a non-linear fashion. So we're excited about that disruption which it does to our operating model. Equally, what it does to businesses is very exciting. I mean, we have around 1,000 projects running on AI, and these are across global enterprises. They fall in 4 categories. The first one is tech for tech, as I call it, which is applying technology to ourselves, to technology development cycles. Customer and employee experience is the second category. Content aggregation and content generation. I mean, the most exciting category is content generation, net new content, which doesn't exist today, generated by generative AI algorithms. So I call this wave a double engine transformation, because it not only disrupts our clients' business models, it disrupts us. And if we can disrupt ourselves, we could apply that. It's almost a flywheel to disrupt the landscapes of enterprises. So very, very excited about the fact that it kind of benefits consumers, it kind of benefits businesses, societies at large, and more importantly, industries like ours, which actually embeds technology into enterprises. So what it does is it reduces the cost of deployment, it increases the velocity at which you could deploy, and it takes away constraints to deploy technology, because there are only 25 to 30 million developers across the world. So you could potentially do more for less, and therefore apply more technology into businesses and create more productivity. Productivity has been flat for the last 25 years. So this is a unique opportunity for us to improve productivity, which in turn leads to higher wages and economic prosperity and I would say social equity in some ways.
I think that's an excellent point you make about AI being a great equalizer and providing more opportunity and growth. That's actually one of our big pushes going into 2025 is the need to have 3% growth across the board to maintain our quality of life economically. And AI is going to help us get there in a tremendous way. But AI also is going to have many different benefits for different sectors. Cognizant has identified several use cases where AI can be beneficial, like retail, financial services, healthcare, agriculture, and manufacturing, to name a few. Where do you think that this tool can help businesses like this in the future?
I mean, there are a variety of them, John. As I said, we're doing 1,000 projects as of now, and they cut across industries. They cut across the 4 categories of AI use cases, as I spoke about, and they equally have applicability in every industry. And I'm going to illustrate a few examples to make my point. In financial services, you could create more automated regulatory filings using AI. You could improve customer experience. I mean, customer service today is a function which is actually built with AI algorithms and humans in the loop, so that you could actually address customer problems in a more efficient way. Employee experience, underwriting in insurance, underwriting in financial services, assisting underwriting with generative algorithms, which actually give you insights for better underwriting. It plays a very important role in pharmaceutical sciences. I mean, so far, what we have seen, science has actually contributed significantly to technology. Over the last 30 to 40 years, the advances in semiconductor manufacturing, advances in material sciences have actually improved the pace at which technological advancements have happened. Right now, we are in a very interesting phase where technology will contribute back to science, where you could improve the drug development cycles, you could understand disease better, you could understand human and biological sciences much better, and it can play a significant role. It can play a significant role in understanding climate change, the metrics and the parameters which enable climate change, and how do we take control of it. in healthcare, which is one of our biggest verticals as a company. We all know that the per member per month rates have significantly gone up for insured population in the United States, or for that matter across the world, because the administrative costs of healthcare has significantly gone up. The cost of healthcare has gone up by 150% in the last 20 years, while inflation has only gone up by 50%. So how do you reduce that cost so that you could actually transition that resources and the capital for patient care? I think that's a exciting opportunity. In fact, we have a platform at Cognizant where we do auto adjudication of claims so that the cost of claims goes down. So there are numerous opportunities. You could actually in some ways draw parallels to what other general purpose technologies like electricity did in the past. The downstream innovation which comes out of it is just so fascinating that it's going to create a multiplier effect in the future.
I think it's a great point to make about all these macroeconomic benefits that we're going to get out of AI, whether it's drug development, whether it's in the healthcare space or dealing with issues regarding things like energy usage. But then, there's some micro uses as well, too. And one of the areas that we don't feel gets as much attention is small business. Our recent Empowering Small Business report recently found that 40% of small businesses are using generative AI. How can AI and broadly data technology help small businesses compete?
Jordan, if you have seen the evolution of technology over the last 30 to 40 years, you would have noticed that access of technology has become much more democratized to enterprises. With the advent of the cloud, maybe a decade ago, what really happened was we transitioned technology from a very capex heavy investment to a capex light investment. You could actually draw technology on the tap as a service, and in the process, the capital needs for technology shrunk, and we kind of made technology available to small businesses like large enterprises, and the barriers of capital kind of got broken or kind of got shrunk. We take one step further. It's a step up from where the cloud democratized technology to giving access of technology to small businesses in a very seamless way. Not only is capital requirement shrunk, as you can draw from the tap, skills, which was a very, very important aspect for accessing technology, has also got democratized with AI, because the access to AI technologies is natural language, it's not digital skills, and therefore the entry barriers to jobs has significantly reduced. And because the entry barriers to jobs has reduced, the access to this technology to small businesses is going to be much more, and therefore small businesses are going to be empowered to compete with big businesses without actually being worried about the capital needs of technology. So that democratization is going to be meaningful for small businesses to be empowered. So I'm excited about the fact that this is a technology which will actually help small businesses compete with the large and use the power of technology to differentiate themselves.
Could not agree more with that. In terms, I think personally speaking, what are some of the solutions, when you really think of some of the cool and new innovations that we'll see with AI, what are some of the things that folks aren't talking about that you think will be a new disruptive innovation that comes out of artificial intelligence for good?
There's so much happened over the last 2 years on generative AI. In fact, if you look at the last decade, there is significant work on machine learning, then artificial intelligence, and now generative AI. And generative AI is in some ways an evolution of machine learning and traditional AI solutions. The next wave is going to be about agentification, as I call it. What it means is today the foundation models or the transformer technologies which power the generative AI, the generative AI platforms are in some ways the outcomes which come out of it would need humans in the loop to derive the outcomes. Agentification of this technology will mean you will have humans working along with AI agents and in a multi-modal way. So agentification with multiple agents, which are very domain centric, can actually be a part of this future. Let me give you an example. On my intranet today, I have multiple applications. There's an application for payroll, there's an application for benefits, there's an application for your travel, there's an application for your healthcare. Imagine if all of these are multiple agents which are domain centric in their own ways. And one of my employees has a life-changing event and kind of punches into the intranet and says, I'm going to have a baby. It's a life-changing event. Tell me what's going to change for me. Now, if these are all AI agents, they're going to all come together to find out what the relevance of that question to them is. They're going to talk to each other, and they're going to generate a cross-domain, cross-functional output, which will actually translate to a set of responses which are integrated across domains. This is real. This is happening on my intranet, and this is probably happening in many, many enterprises. So multi-agent, multi-modal, generative AI agents coming together in an integrated fashion and doing tasks for us and improving productivity is what the future looks like. So that's one thing which fascinates me. The second thing which fascinates me is what I alluded to earlier, which is the flywheel of science and technology. I mean, today we are all talking about problems which humans can solve, but how can machines help humans amplify the potential, or how can machines help amplify the productivity of humans? Imagine problems which were not solved by humans, which are related to science, which are related to our environment around us, which we are unable to tap into because the human endeavor has not been able to conquer those problems, like disease, like drug development cycles, understanding human DNA. If these problems get solved, and there are, the next wave of AI applications is about shrinking that cycle of development for human and biological sciences. So far, it used to take us 50, 60 years to crack this problem. Imagine if you shrink that cycle to 3 to 4 years. We're all going to live in a much more prosperous world, cracking the code, if I may, on human sciences. So that's the next big problem which AI can solve with the power of humans, and I'm actually excited about it.
Well, I like what you talk about the power of humans. And, one of the things that you talked about recently in an interview was AI will create more jobs in the future. What are your thoughts on AI and the future of work? And how do you think companies should be getting ready for the workforce for these types of jobs?
Jordan, we did a broad study in collaboration with the Oxford Economics. We call it the New Work, New World. And what we did was we took 18,000 tasks, we took 1,100 occupations, and we kind of created what we call the exposure score for every task and every occupation. What does AI do? And what does it take for you to do a new set of value-added tasks? And we call that the friction scores for you to reskill yourself. I think what was fascinating for us to know is what does AI do to the new world of work? It actually reduces the gap between occupations because you can access jobs much easily. It reduces the gap within an occupation because you don't need specialization to do a job, and therefore it shrinks the gap space, and it therefore creates upward social mobility in jobs. Let me give you an example. If you're an equity research analyst and you come with a liberal arts background, you could lend expertise with an AI algorithm, and that expertise could be, analytical algorithmic skills, or that expertise could be statistical skills, which you are not, which you're probably not exposed to, and access that job. So, it's fascinating that you could lend expertise. The last revolution of technology, which was mobile technologies and the internet, allowed you to access information on your fingertips. This is going to give you access to expertise on your fingertips, and therefore your access to jobs is going to be very, very different. So my belief is this is going to lead to upward social mobility, and therefore a large number of people would access tech-led jobs without knowing how to code, without knowing without having digital skills. And in some ways, one of our studies, interestingly, also talks about this equalizer you referred to, which is, we looked at our developer community and we analyzed using AI what happens to this developer community. The upper 50 percentile of the developer community of Cognizant only gained 17% productivity. The lower 50 percentile of the developer community gained 37%. So it kind of leveled, it kind of reduced the extremes in our developer community, which is again exciting because it kind of creates an equalizer and gives you access to better paying jobs in a very efficient way.
No, it's an exciting time, I think, in terms of upward mobility for people to really begin to develop new skills with this type of technology. So we're optimistic, much like you are, about this revolution. Finally, it would not be a U.S. chamber conversation without talking a little bit of policy. There is a tremendous focus now on ensuring that AI benefits all in a responsible manner. And one part of that is regulatory sandboxes. Could you talk a little bit about that today?
Absolutely, Jordan. I mean, one of the biggest constraints for AI to be enabled, generative AI to be enabled, is unlike technologies of the past where you need to take care of safety, and some recent technologies which used data in a big way, like machine learning algorithms, you also needed to take care of equity because the sources from where data comes, there is an intrinsic bias in it, and how do you take that bias out so that you could have safety and equity, make the technology responsible enough. With AI technologies, which has transformer-led neural networks as algorithms, extraordinary compute, and internet-scale data. That's the platform, the AI platform we are talking about. Transformer technologies, extraordinary compute, and internet-scaled data. They all come together to create generative AI models. They create output which is generative in nature, output which cannot be traced back in a linear fashion to the data in it because it is net new output. So effectively, this technology, in addition to safety and equity, also needs trust to be a part of the principles in which you can execute. So I think the responsible AI principles or regulators are looking for trust, safety, and equity to create the power of AI technologies for societal change, for societal impact. So what we have done and what regulators have to do to make it purposeful and responsible is to make sure that trust, safety, and equity are the principles of every use case of AI. There are other imperatives regulators are grappling with, and with the chamber and the work I'm going to do with the chamber, we're hoping we can contribute to it. Is a bunch of things. To start with, safety, trust, and equity. How do you bring all the three together for making AI responsible? Regulating the input or regulating the output and the imperatives between the two. Do you regulate the model or do you regulate the end use of the model? Sometimes you believe you need controls. Sometimes you believe you need enablement for the innovation to happen. Because this is a technology which is improving over time, you need to have a fine balance between controls and enablement. And because the data is going to the data from the past is going to be leveraged for the future, but the output is coming out of a black box. You have to start to think about traceability, observability, explainability, and transparency. And how do you make this accountable? By keeping human in the loop. So there are a whole bunch of considerations for regulators. And therefore, this is going to be an exciting opportunity for regulators to not only control, but equally enable and accelerate the pace of innovation of AI. So I think this is probably one of the most interesting spaces to work on. How do you make it responsible enough? And how do you regulate for enablement, not just for controls?
Ravi, I think that's an excellent conversation to be had about the balance between innovation and protection. And we have been advocating for a risk-based approach that would obviously get us to that end. And we look forward to working with you on making that a reality. Ravi, thank you again for joining us today. It was an incredibly insightful conversation. And I want to thank you and our audience for tuning in today. If you'd like to learn more about what the Chamber is doing in the innovation space, you can visit us at uschamber.com/technology. We look forward to seeing you on our next round of Tech Talks. So thank you again and have a good day.